Hi, my name is Maddie Clyer, and I'm here to share some interesting information about our university's history. The Memorial Hall building was built in 1929 and was used to serve as a memorial for World War I victims. The building now stands as the logo between the letters U and K. The church-like building is now used for many lectures, performances, and even small graduations from smaller colleges within the university. Entering the hall for a lecture is normally pretty strange. You try to avoid all the construction taking place on the outside of the hall. During class, you try to drown out all the loud construction noises. Upon approaching Memorial Hall, the first thing you notice is all the white columns surrounded by the construction equipment and fences that shift by the day. The bright yellow construction tape never fails to catch attention. The steps to the door seem intimidating because of the steepness, but they aren't all that bad. To tell the true age of the building, just look at the old windows, the lanterns on the side of the door, and even the rusty door handles. Finally, entering the door, there's a sign that doesn't get much attention that states, "No food or drinks allowed in the auditorium." Behind that, there's a white curtain with a small plaque that also goes unnoticeable. In front of that are a few tables and chairs where students anxiously await their class time. As soon as the time changes and one class gets out, another set of students rush to the front of the auditorium to ensure a good seat for their lecture. The hall is very dimly lit by fancy chandeliers that look expensive. The musty smell hits you the second you open the door. The professor giving the lecture uses a microphone so that everyone is able to hear and so that things won't echo as bad. There's a decent-sized screen in the middle for the professor to project the lecture notes for everyone to see. With the age of Memorial Hall comes the downfalls, the chairs. These chairs are green and are connected and split into 3 sections, left side, right side, and the middle. Sitting still in class is upon many things I, along with other students, struggle with. When you move around in these chairs, they creak, which show the age. You can feel the bar upon sitting, which make you move around a lot. These chairs also have the pull-out desk for the students to put needed materials for class. In this big room, it's easy to get distracted. Your eyes simply wander away from the lecture slides and you find yourself staring at all the fine art detail put into the wall windows or about how ancient the gray curtains on the actual window are. Sometimes your mind is so far gone you start to wonder why there's a piano in the corner or why there's balcony seating. It's very quickly noticeable that Memorial Hall sticks in the neutral color scheme. White walls, gray curtains, black armrests. Kind of boring, right? Let's ask another student how they feel about Memorial Hall. She has bright red, medium-length hair, a septum piercing, and can be found wearing a white hat, black leggings, and a blue Kentucky shirt.
Memorial Hall is overall nice. The inside is a little bit dated. When I walk up, it kind of reminds me of a church. The clock on the outside is what always gets my attention. Normally, I show up to class about 8 to 10 minutes early, and normally the other class is getting out and it's pretty crazy and loud. I come in quietly and make my way to the front. I try to sit in the middle section in the first couple of rows. The walls are kind of bland and the seats are super uncomfortable, but the pull-out desk is super handy for taking notes in class. Sometimes I have trouble sitting still. Also, I find the construction noises highly distracting, and sometimes I can only hear the construction sounds instead of my professor talking. Another thing is the constant moving of the construction equipment drives me crazy. It leaves me dodging the equipment.
Behind the white curtain that Ariana didn't mention and that I mentioned goes unnoticeable is a fresco painted by Anne O'Halloran in 1934. The fresco is covered now due to controversial issues. But some background info of the fresco. It painted the history of Lexington. There are different time periods painted. Memorial Hall was named after Edward T. Bredhart on May 4, 2004 by the University of Kentucky Board of Trustees. Memorial Hall is now known as Edward T. Ned Bredhart Auditorium, but everyone still calls it Memorial Hall. Memorial Hall is one of the oldest buildings on campus. Looking from the outside, the place looks really big, but it's really not. Memorial Hall may not be the most welcoming place on campus, but it for sure holds some of the university's Most important history. In Ariana's response, she mentioned some of the same points that I do. The construction noises, the church-like look, the changing of classes. And she also mentions the clock on the top of the building, which gives it a striking first appearance. The chairs are also so uncomfortable, but that comes with age. The place is overall just dated and bland. She mentioned the desk being super handy, and I completely agree with her. I struggle with focusing, so the construction noises always get my attention over the professor. The constant moving of the construction equipment is also quite annoying, because you never know what side to enter on or what side the fence will be on today. Let's hear from another student. This student's name is Jacob Huber. He is wearing a blue shirt with class of 2020 on it, black Adidas running pants, and he has long brown hair.
Memorial Hall gives me this kind of church kind of vibe. The place just looks old from the outside. I think that the construction during the class sometimes is kind of distracting. The noise just distracts me from what my teachers talk about all the time. It makes me mad. Class changes in this small building can get kind of loud. Memorial Hall during the day is usually a pretty high traffic area. Another thing about Memorial Hall is the old smell that hits you as soon as you open the door. One thing I noticed from the first day of class is the marble floors in the lobby and area, and also how the auditorium isn't very lit. You can tell when they built it that they put a lot of detail into it. And as for the future, I think we could do something like remodeling on the inside without destroying too much history. But I wouldn't say Memorial Hall is the worst or the best place to have class.
From Jacob and Ariana's response, I can gather that most students seem to think the same way about Memorial Hall. It's historically important to the university, but there could be some updates. Small details of the significant place seem to go unnoticed. Myself included, live life on a fast pace and don't really take time to stop and enjoy the small but great things offered. Memorial Hall is a great place considering the great detail. Something that I continue thinking about and that is so relatable is something that Jacob said in his interview. I wouldn't say Memorial Hall is the worst or best place to have class. I can't really think of a better way to describe this out of date but kind of cool in a way building.